Any organization that does business in the U.S. will be subject to one or more regulators. A feature of this is the requirement for any organization to keep records of all its dealings, including email. Depending on their activities, businesses must comply with the likes of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, known as HIPAA, Food and Drug Administration, which is referred to as FDA, SEC, FINRA, NASD, and many others. Each has the requirement to maintain a searchable email archive. These requirements are not like those of old, where companies were told to comply, except that in the past, most times, nobody checked. Regulators regard compliance as essential and check companies at random to ensure they are managing email properly. For once, a regulator's bite is proving just as effective as its bark. Our own research showed that up to 60% of all small businesses have no form of email archiving solution. In an age where security is everything, this is unforgivable. Given that email archiving solutions are now cheaper and more reliable than ever before, there really is no excuse. However, most of the compliance regulations are complicated, convoluted, and include a maze of legalese. We are going to discuss 5 tips that will help ensure your company is email compliant. With the consequences for non-compliance being severe, it's the least we could do. The first tip is to learn which regulators oversee your business. While the basic rules are similar for all companies, there will be a raft of legislation specific to yours. That's especially true if you're in the medical or financial industries. It's also important to keep abreast of changes. The government is playing catch-up with the internet and email communications, so things can change quickly. Keeping up with change is as important as knowing the rules in the first place. The second tip is to devise and enforce a robust company policy regarding email. The policy needs to be clear, in plain English, and made available to every employee. At the least, it should include acceptable use of email and social media, how to communicate with external contacts, and what is regarded as confidential information. Most of us have more than one email account, a work one and at least one personal one. Another tip to ensure compliance is to enforce a separation of the two. Part of the email policy should also stipulate that all work-related communication should only pass through corporate email. The devices through which this email is accessed should also be controlled. The increased use of smartphones means email has moved away from the desktop and is more mobile. It is essential that mobile devices are configured to work with email archives to retain data for compliance. Use the proper tools for the job is our fourth tip. Exchange archives email, but it doesn't always meet compliance regulations. To fully comply and to also provide adequate disaster recovery, a proper email archiving platform should be used. The platform should be configured to store and retain the data to fully meet the compliance requirements of your industry and provide adequate security and availability to keep your information safe and accessible at all times. Our final tip to ensure proper email compliance is to never stop your quest to be compliant. Once you begin your compliance process, you need to keep it up, at least for the foreseeable future.